The following is a presentation of CBC Sports.
It's the final day of the 2007 World Artistic Gymnastics Championships. The stars on every apparatus look to shine in the finale, hoping to land a world title. The hometown hero, Fabian Hambushin, has already grabbed 2 medals, but neither of them gold. Could this finally be his day?
I have good chance to win there, but I don't expect anything of myself, so I just can do my best and, well, we will see.
10 gold medals are there for the taking as Hambushin and the others close the door on the last major competition before the Beijing Games. This is one of Stuttgart's tributes to the automobile. It's the Mercedes-Benz Museum, and for the past 50 years, the automotive industry has been the lifeblood of this German city. Hello everyone, I'm Brenda Irving along with 2-time Olympian Laurie Strong-Ballard. And Laurie, today's competition at the World Gymnastics Championships has a lot in common with the power, the precision of a high-performance automobile.
Well, today we'll see the apparatus finals. It's for the men, 4 for the women. 8 athletes per event qualify, so we'll see the world's best going head-to-head. There will be direct comparison. This is the event that the athlete doesn't want to hold back on. If they have a new skill or bigger difficulty, they go for it. The event finals are highly competitive, and this is where the event specialists really want to make a name for themselves.
And when you think of excellence in gymnastics, you think about Nadia Comaneci on the beam or Mary Lou Retton's 10 on the vault.
Absolutely, and what about Alexei Naimov, one of the most decorated Olympic gymnasts ever? He always wowed us with his high-flying, high-bar routines.
And today on CBC Sports Weekend, we're going to find out if the next generation of athletes can join those legendary names in the sport of gymnastics. And the Hans Martin Schleyer Hall is located just a short walk away from the Automotive Museum. And Laurie, this is the final day of competition at the 2007 World Artistic Gymnastics Championships. And here's a look at the 10 event finals.
And today we'll not only see athletes from the traditional powerhouse countries like Japan, China, and USA, but specialists from Brazil, Great Britain, Poland, and even the Netherlands have great chances to win medals here.
And we're going to start our day off with the men's floor exercise. And China won the men's team competition earlier here in Stuttgart, so it is no wonder that China has the highest number of gymnasts competing in the men's event finals today. And here is one of them, Zhu Kai, one of 6. And he was the top qualifier for this floor final.
And he has one of the most difficult routines in this final, opening with 2 D elements in combination. His foot slips over the line on the landing there. That's a mandatory 1/10 deduction. The floor is 40 foot by 40 foot, and it seems a little smaller when you start to combine several flight elements together.
You notice on the men's routine, no music accompanies the exercise.
It's more about the power tumbling. We're seeing some of these athletes do 4 tumbling passes in a row, sometimes 4 to 6 tumbling passes in a routine. Combination of 3 flight elements, a struggle on the landing there. The last element was a front 1.5 called a Rudy. Landed with his chest low, and the judges want to see them land securely on their feet before they dive to that prone position. Buzzer sounds at 60 seconds. He has 10 seconds to finish his dismount here. Full and back out. Again, chest a little bit low on his landing, so there was definitely some landing and some execution errors in this routine, even though the difficulty was extremely high.
And Laurie, we should mention that 10 is no longer the perfect score in gymnastics.
Under this new code of points, a score of a 15 is a good score. Anything that is up in the 16 range is an excellent score. His final tumbling pass, the full in, back out. Fatigue is usually an issue by the time you're doing your 5th or 6th tumbling pass on floor.
Well, that certainly wasn't Zhu Kai's best day on floor. We see there his score well below his qualification score, which was a little over 16 points. Next on floor is a 26-year-old from Spain. His name, Gervasio de Fer, and he finished 4th on floor at the 2004 Olympics.
Check out this opening pass, double out with a full twist, and then he punches into a front 1 3/4. Outstanding difficulty and combination. Great technique on his 3 flight elements.
He was also 4th at last year's World Championships and had the 3rd highest qualification score.
So far he's doing an excellent job on all of his landings. Very clean and big difficulty in this routine as well. An A score of a 6.5 if he gets credit for all of his skills and combinations. Thomas, 1 1/2 twisting, 1 3/4 rotation. Taking a final breath before that last tumbling pass. It's a double layout, and he nails another landing. Outstanding routine.
Gervasio was born to be a tumbler. His body is just perfect for it.
Absolutely. He's short. He's about 5'2", and he has very strong, powerful legs. That helps him not only on this event, but vaulting as well, where he excels.
He's a 2-time Olympic champion on vault, but surprisingly did not make the final on vault here in Germany. But a wonderful performance by Gervasio on floor.
Yes, he did not qualify to the vault finals here, and at the last World Championships and at the Olympic Games in Athens, he was 4th on this event, so I think he was a little highly motivated today. See his powerful tumbling right there, beautiful height in the 2 1/2 twist. He's looking for the ground, combines it to a 3rd flight element, the front layout with a 1/2.
Great score, nearly 16 points, and that will move him into 1st place for the moment here in the men's floor final. This is Brazil's Diego Hipólito. He is one of the world's finest athletes on floor. He is the reigning world silver medalist and the 2005 world champion.
Opening pass is extremely difficult and rare. Half in, full out. 1 1/2 twists and 2 rotations in the laid out position. Four flight elements in combination. Huge difficulty in this final. He is at the tops in terms of difficulty. Possibly an A score of a 6.7. Now, at these World Championships, the #1 priority for these athletes is qualifying to the Olympic Games, and Brazil was 17th as a team, and that means that they can send 1 athlete to the Olympic Games, and I'm sure Diego will be at their top of the list. His medal chances there. Primarily a vault and floor specialist. Oh, excellent finish. Double Arabian, nails the landing. An extremely clean routine and big difficulty. Saw some of the big E and F level skills in this routine, but also he had tremendous combination of elements like this, 4 skills in a row.
There are some big names missing from this floor final. One of them is Canadian Kyle Schufelt, which we would have expected him to be in the final here today.
Absolutely. Kyle is the defending Olympic gold medalist on this event. He broke both his knees while training here in Germany. And Marian Dragulescu is missing from this competition, this floor final as well. He hurt his back while training here in Germany. But I think with routines like this, Diego could have given both those top athletes a run for their money.
16.150, that would have been hard to beat, so that is higher than Gervasio's score by 0.2 of a point. Well, here is our final gymnast on floor. He's the only man now who can beat Diego Hippolito, 27-year-old Hisashi Mitsutori of Japan. He has already won a medal in the team competition and won one in the men's all-around.
We saw him start his routine with his heels touching the line. They can touch the line, they just simply cannot step over the line or they'll have an out-of-bounds deduction. 5'6" tall. He's a little taller and lankier than some of the other competitors here. So he needs as much room on this floor as possible. He's a body type that's a little more suited for the swinging events, P-bars and high bar, where he really excels, but where he can make up room here is in his B score. He's usually very clean and pleasing to watch. Finishes with a clean 2.5 twist. Again, nice landings, but the difficulty is about 4/10 lower than Diego's.
And Hisashi has one of the most interesting stories here in Stuttgart this week, because here he is. He won a medal in the men's team competition, won a medal in the men's all-around, and he's an alternate.
Yeah, Brenda, he came to this competition as the alternate to the Japanese team, and when one of their teammates broke his hand during training here, he had to step in, and now he's been one of their most successful competitors.
Well, this is going to be interesting. Diego Hippolito's score of 16.150 leads this competition. Then in second place, Gervasio Defer's score of just under 16 points. And there is his score. Hisashi Mitsutori, that will be good enough for the bronze medal. So Diego Hippolito will take the gold medal here in Stuttgart. The Brazilian wins the second world title on floor of his career. Gervasio Defer takes his second world championship medal. When we return to Stuttgart, it's the best of the best on women's vault.
Für Deutschland, Oksana Chusovitina.
Our next event final is women's vault. This is Oksana Chusovitina, a 32-year-old Russian-born gymnast who now competes for Germany. Each of these gymnasts will get 2 vaults. The scores from each vault are averaged to determine the final score.
And to be competitive in this event, you have to have 2 completely different vaults with high start values. First vault for Chusovitina is a front 1.5, way short on height and rotation. I've watched her compete for 15 or 16 years, and I've never seen Oksana Chusovitina miss on the vault this badly.
Well, Lori, in 2002, her son became very ill, and Oksana, her husband and son, spent months in this country where he was forced to undergo treatment at a hospital here.
Yeah, Germany and the gymnastics community as a whole gave her tremendous support through this time. And gymnastics is her job now. This is how she supports her family and her son. I guess you could say it's a bad day at the office today. Second vault. Sukahara, 1.5 twist, hops out on the landing.
She qualified 5th for this vault final.
Strong amplitude and execution on this second vault. Nice height and distance, but wow, tough competition for Chusovitina.
Well, you see her average score there of 14.687. It's going to take a score probably in the high 15s to get on the podium today. North Korea continues to produce more and more world-class gymnasts, and the country has 2 in this vault final, and they're sisters. And here's one of them, 21-year-old Hong Soo-jong.
First time sisters have competed in a vault final. Vaulting one of the biggest vaults for the women, a Yurchenko 2.5 twist.
She was 7th on vault at last year's World Championships. There's her sister looking on.
She also won a silver at last year's Asian Games. She was behind Zheng Fei, who is the current world champion on the vault, and still to come here. Nice explosive power off the table, performing a 2.5 twist.
Her score, a little under 16 points. And a medal by a North Korean woman on vault would be a first for that country.
There's a great chance here. Another difficult vault. Round up half on, Rudy off. That's a front 1.5 off the vaulting table. An entirely different vault than the first one, which is a requirement in this final. See where the difference is. She does a half turn and does a forward rotation now with a 1.5 twist. A little bit of a pike in the hips. Tiny step on the landing, but overall a strong vault. You see the directional lines as well. The athletes must stay centered in between those lines or there'll be a deduction.
Well, that will give her an average of 15.812. That's going to move her into first place. And this is one of 2 event finals we are going to see Alicia Sacramone compete in today. The American already has 2 World Championship medals on this apparatus, Lori.
She won the silver medal at the last Worlds, and she's the U.S. national champion on the vault. She has a beautiful first vault planned. Handspring front 1.5, the same vault we saw Chusovitna struggle with. Not a problem for Alicia. You don't get much better than that. Beautiful amplitude and body position in the air. This vault was huge. She has so much power. Take a look at the distance. She gets nice direction, straight up into the air. Slightly crooked, but she doesn't step over those directional lines, so there won't be a deduction there.
And she helped the U.S. women to team gold here in Stuttgart.
Now in this final, she is behind from the start in terms of her difficulty and her start values, so it is so important for this second vault to have a clean landing and to execute well in the air. Lutsenko double twist, really fighting to try and get that stuck landing. Every 10th will count here.
You'll find a lot of gymnasts that do well on vault also seem to do well on floor.
It's about the power muscles, having those quick twitched muscles, and being able to do the powerful tumbling, especially under this new code of points where difficulty seems to be so important.
Well, an average of 15.412 will put her for the moment into second place. And just like Alicia Sacramone, China's Shen Fei will also be completing on floor later today, and this 19-year-old gymnast is the reigning world champion on both floor and vault, and so she is clearly the class of the field in this event.
She has the advantage of competing last. She knows exactly what she needs to do. She's got the big difficulty, a sky-high 2.5 twisting Yurchenko. Excellent. This vault has an A score of a 6.5, one of the most difficult for the women. Look at the height, explosive power. She lands directly in the center of the mat, and that means her technique is perfect.
Wow, look at that score, 16. It is rare to see a women's vault score that high. That is the highest score that we've seen today in this competition.
Now, for years, China lacked the power and the strength to excel on the vault and the floor, and their answer to that is Shen Fei, and she's aggressive, powerful, but she still has that same attention to the technique and the details. That's what makes her great here. Second vault, half on, front 1.5 off, little stumble on the landing, but again, 2 vaults with extreme difficulty.
Well, she'll need an average score of 15.8 to move ahead of Hong Soo-jong of North Korea.
She made history in 2005, winning the first world vault title for a Chinese woman. She won again in 2006, and she looks like she's well on her way to the 3rd title in a row.
Yeah, and she has got it. So Shen Fei adds to her impressive resume, make it 3 straight world titles on vault. Hong Soo-jong of North Korea winds up with the silver medal, the first medal ever for a North Korean woman on vault. More gymnastics still to come from Stuttgart. Welcome back. Well, have you ever wondered how gymnastics moves get their unique names? Here's Lori to answer that question for us.
There have been some great gymnasts, some with one-of-a-kind moves, and sometimes skills we've never seen before.
Oh, yes, how about that? And that form has never been done in competition before, and the judges don't even have it listed on their books.
It became the Yurchenko and joined Sukahara, Jaeger, and more recently, Dragulescu as some of the gymnasts who have advanced the sport by creating original skills that now bear their name. Creating a new move can be planned or happen almost accidentally during training. Either way, making it official means competing it at the highest level in this sport.
What happens is usually there's people all around the world trying, the same sort of thing. So officially, if you're the first one to compete it successfully at a World Championships or Olympic Games, that's how you actually get your name attached to that skill. So you may not be the first person who did it, or didn't even invent it for that matter, but if you're the first person to successfully complete it.
Italy's Yuri Keki, a 5-time world champion on rings, impressed everyone with his beautiful style and strength. Winning a medal was always first priority, but creating a move that is still used today is a wonderful legacy.
I have a name on the movement on the rings. It's easy routine, but that's my name. It's very nice.
Sometimes a new move comes from the advancement of an existing skill, like it was for Shannon Miller, who won gold at the '96 Olympics.
Originally, the skill was a jump backward with a quarter turn. And one day she over-rotated it and just pirouetted another 180. And she said, that wasn't that hard. So we tried it a couple more times and we put it in her program. And then she was the first person to successfully complete it.
Canadian gymnasts have left their mark on the sport as well, like Kitchener's Yvonne Tusek, who created an original style back handspring on the beam, and Toronto's Leah Homa with her difficult mount, a flare sequence on the beam, and Calgary's Kyle Schufelt with his Schufelt vault, a spectacular round-off back handspring with a 2.5 twist. Newcomer Elise Hoffner-Hibbs took her single illusion on the beam and turned it into a double on the floor. She hopes to get credit for its creation soon.
I think after doing gymnastics for 14 plus years of my life, to have a skill that would be named after me would be something, it's so cool because, not everybody can get to that level where you have a skill that's totally unique and only yours. So after so much hard work, I think it'd be an excellent, not a finish because I'm not done, but something that I've done for gymnastics.
So as the sport evolves, so do the skills. And now a Comaneci salto appears in the routines of new stars like Vanessa Ferrari, keeping the names of the great innovators of this sport alive.
And Lori has a move named after her. It, of course, is called the Strong, a move you came up with on the uneven bars.
Yeah, I first completed the Strong at the 1987 World Championships. It's a shoot over with a 1.5 twist, and it's really a special feeling to know that your name is forever in the code of points.
Xiao Qin is up next. On the men's pommel, he's the 2-time world champion, and he's obviously the man to beat in this event final.
Well, it's usually not an advantage to go early in the lineup, but for Xiao Qin, this shouldn't be a problem. He will set the bar extremely high with his technical expertise on this event. He makes pommels look like an art form. Take a look at the elevation in his hips, the speed in his flare work. An extremely long routine, and that means big difficulty. Usually gets an A score of 6.6. Pirouetting into the dismount. Another excellent routine.
Well, it was the top qualifier, and this is an event that the Chinese in general have excelled at.
Well, pommel horse takes a lot of patience, time, and discipline to be able to compete it at this level. And China's always had a lot of great technicians in their country and trained their athletes at a very young age to do pommel horse correctly. And Xiao Qin simply hovers over the horse, and he executed some of the most intricate hand placements with ease.
Now, certainly one of the most difficult events for the men, and there is a score 16.3, and that is higher than his qualification score. Christian Berkey is a 22-year-old gymnast out of Budapest, Hungary, and he is the two-time European champion on this event, but is still in search of his very first World Championship medal.
He also won several World Cup golds this year, so he's gained some valuable experience, and that helps on this event as well. And able to block out the pressure, handle the nerves, showing tremendous work in his scissor elements, taking it to handstand and then back down for more scissors. Showing off his Russians on the leather. He's traveling from one end of the horse back down to the other. The judges want to see them using all areas of the pommel horse. There's one of the greatest pommel horse workers ever came from Hungary, the 1976 and 80 Olympic champion Zoltán Magyar. He was a great innovator on this event, and it looks like Christian Berkey's trying to follow in his footsteps.
Well, even though Christian wasn't even born when Magyar competed, his legacy still inspires young gymnasts like Christian in Hungary.
Absolutely. Zoltán set the bar high and did some very original skills. He was the first to do some of those traveling movements that move from one end of the horse to the other. And of course, Christian Berkey showing off some original skills there in his scissor work.
Well, that will put him into second place behind Xiao Qin. Alexander Artemov took the bronze medal on pommel horse at the last World Championships, and that made him the first American to do so in nearly 3 decades. And Lori, Alexander certainly is a crowd pleaser. The crowd loves to watch him.
Absolutely. He's beautiful on this event, and he was the U.S.'s only medal on the men's side at the last World Championships. Big move coming here. Full Kerr on one pommel. Well done. And this is where he excels in his flare work. Look at the flexibility. Legs up by the ears. Amazing height and speed. The catch here, though, is Sasha's difficulty. They refer to him as Sasha. Is almost a full point less than Xiao Qin's.
His father is his coach and was a member of the Soviet national team for 10 years. His mother is a former rhythmic gymnast. The family moved to the U.S. More than 10 years ago now.
And you can really see the traditional Russian style in his gymnastics, the beautiful lines, the incredible straight legs and toe point, like we used to see from some other Russian greats like Alexei Nemov.
Well, he needed a score of 16.3 to move into first. That will not give it to him and will leave him in third place. This is our final competitor and the youngest gymnast on pommel horse, 18-year-old Lewis Smith of Great Britain. He is a 2-time junior European champion on this event, and Lewis also showed he's ready to compete with the best of the men's senior circuit when he finished 4th at this year's European Championships.
His coach is Paul Smith, and that has been a big difference for Great Britain on this event. They have 2 athletes. Danielle Keatings is also competing in this final. And that's rare to see 2 athletes from Great Britain on the pommel horse.
You need a score of 15.175 to move into third place.
Lewis's difficulty is very similar to Xiao Qin's, 6.5 A score. He gets through all of his skills. Excellent control into his dismount.
Well, if he can win a medal, it would be the first medal by a male gymnast for Great Britain since Neil Thomas took the silver on floor in 1994.
Great effort by Lewis here on the pommel horse, and Great Britain was in the top 15 here as a team, which means they can send 2 individual athletes to Beijing. They have 2 great workers on the pommel horse. It'll be interesting to see if they put all their eggs in one basket and send both of them hoping for a medal in Beijing.
Well, he'll be looking for a score of greater than 15.175 to move into third, and he's got it. So that will give Lewis Smith of Great Britain the bronze medal. So Laura, I think it's fair to say a bit of a surprise to see the 18-year-old win third place here in Stuttgart, but no surprise to see China's Xiao Qin take his third World Championship title. And Hungary's Christian Berkey finishes with the silver medal. American Alexander Artemov drops down to 6th place. Up next, the women are back. They move to the uneven bars. Brenda Irving here along with Lori Strong-Ballard. We are now set for the uneven bars final. Here is one of 4 newcomers on this Chinese team, Yang Yilin, who finished 6th in the all-around competition here in Germany.
China brought almost an entirely new team to these World Championships, and that just shows you the depth that they have and the flow of new talent coming out of their country. Athletes are required 3 release elements, one that releases and catches the same bar like we saw on that Tkachev. Here comes another one here, a piked Jaeger, and they also are required to do a release element from high to low bar, like on that pack salto, and from low bar to high bar, right there. This routine is packed with difficulty, 7.0 in the A score. Full job, full pirouette into another release element, and the dismount. Gaining speed here, it's a double layout, nails the landing, a brilliant routine.
These Chinese coaches have spent an incredible amount of time studying this new code of points, trying to get every fraction of a point out of every routine.
I think everyone's worked hard with this new code of points. You know, gymnastics saw its most dramatic change in its scoring system since the last Olympic Games, and it's been a work in progress. The Federation of International Gymnastics continues to adjust the rules, and that means that it's been quite a challenge, not only for the athletes, the coaches, and the judges as well.
Great score there by Yang Yilin, over 16 points. That has her in 1st place. American Anastasia Lukin, like Alexander Artemov, who we saw earlier on pommel horse, is also of Russian descent, and like Alexander, her mother and father were accomplished gymnasts as well.
She's coached by her dad, Valery Lyukin, who was a 4-time medalist at the Seoul Olympics. Won the silver medal in the all-around. There he is, spotting Nastia on her Ginger. She does that, one of the best in the world at the Ginger. Tkachev, sky high. Outstanding lines on this event, long arms and legs, and that shows off nicely on bars. Beautiful toe point and straight legs. One of the highest in difficulty, a 7.1 A score, and a new dismount here, double front half out. Has to take the step on the landing, a little short in rotation there.
There's her teammate Alicia Sacramone, one of 3 Americans in the event finals today. And you know, Nastia has been such a dominant force in the world of gymnastics for several years, and has shown here in Stuttgart, Lori, that she has fully recovered from an ankle injury, which did affect her for the past year.
It was a long time recovering from that ankle injury, and at the last World Championship she did a double layout dismount from the bars, but that was causing her pain, so they changed it to the double front half out. She did take a step on the landing, and although she's in 1st right now, that could keep this door open.
Tomorrow, the CFL on CBC will be bringing you a football classic. It's Thanksgiving Monday, and you'll be able to watch the Ticats in Montreal, followed by the Riders in Calgary. Here is the last gymnast in this event final. She's one of the youngest competitors in Stuttgart, 14-year-old Ksenia Semenova. And Lori, she's going to try to salvage something here from what has been a tough World Championship for Russia.
This is their greatest chance at a medal here, showing interesting combination of elements. Tkachev to an immediate giant full, giant half to a Jaeger. Huge difficulty, and we touched on it, you know, Russia has not yet won a medal at these World Championships, and it's hard to believe from a country who in the past dominated with greats like Svetlana Horkina, the Queen of the Bars, Elena Zamolodchikova, and Alexei Nemov, just to mention a few of their most recent greats. Stalder full, Into her dismount, double Arabian in the piked position.
She's going to need a score of 16.3 to move into first place ahead of Nastia Lukin. And Lori, do you think she has it with this routine?
Well, this is an extremely difficult routine, 1/10 higher than Nastia's routine, but there were a few form breaks in her body, but the judges liked it.
She's got it. 5/100ths of a point difference between that routine and Nastia Lukin's. So Russia finally wins a medal at these World Championships. Ksenia Semenova, the 14-year-old, wins the uneven bars title by the smallest of margins. China's Yiling Yang winds up third, while the former world champion finishes in second place.
It was a very close competition on the bars, and the 2005 world champion, Nastia Lukin, today a silver medal. What did you think of the performance?
I felt like I did a pretty good routine, and I had a step on the dismount, which cost me the gold, but I'm happy with my performance, and getting any kind of medal is always great, so I'm pleased with that.
When Lori and I return to Germany, we'll find out who is the 2007 Lord of the Rings here in Stuttgart. This is certainly one of the busiest places in Stuttgart on the weekend, the market. And it's a 15-minute drive from the site of this year's World Artistic Gymnastics Championships. Let's go now to one of the big strength events for men, rings, and this is Yuri van Gelder of the Netherlands. He was the rings world champion 2 years ago, and last year, Lori, he won the bronze medal.
And in this final, we're going to see a showdown between the top 3 finishers from the last World Championships. It's very much about strength. In this new code of points, there's an A jury, 2 judges that look at the content of the routine and the difficulty, and 6 judges that make up the B jury, and they are looking for execution errors and score the athlete from a score of 10. The A and the B scores are added together to give them their final scores. We'll see scores in the high 16s on this event because of the difficulty that these athletes are able to do. Showing tremendous control. One of the goals on rings. Excellent dismount, full twisting double layout, sticks the landing. What a great routine.
The top 12 countries from the team final will send 6 athletes to Beijing next summer. And countries can also qualify athletes through these team finals.
The gold medal winners from these event finals will secure a spot in Beijing if they haven't already qualified someone from the team competition or from the all-around competition. And for the Netherlands, they secured at least 1 spot after a good showing in the all-around competition. So there's a chance we may see Yuri van Gelder compete for a medal at the Olympics on this event if they choose to send him.
Well, if he wins the gold medal, there'll be no question that he will be going to China next summer, and that is a great score. 16.625 for Yuri van Gelder. Jordan Jovchev has won close to a dozen world and Olympic medals in his career. He's had most of that success on floor and on rings. Even though he's 34, he still finds ways somehow of improving and adding new difficulty to his routines.
He's 10 years older than Van Gelder. He's the granddaddy of this sport, and this is his 10th World Championships. He's competed at 3 Olympic Games, and he's still at the top, and that is outstanding in the sport. He has the most difficult routine of these World Championships, a possible A score of a 7.4. 2 swing elements into an L cross. Athletes are required to do a swing element to a strength hold and a swing element to a handstand like that. You can see the unsteadiness of the rings though near the end of the routine, but sticks the dismount with big difficulty, but a little unsteady there near the end.
As we mentioned, Jordan is 34, and many of the male gymnasts that we're seeing in these event finals are in their late 20s, early 30s. But that certainly would be a rarity in the women's event finals, to see anyone that old.
Well, generally, a male athlete peaks at a later age because that's when they really come into their own in terms of strength and power, and that's what's needed in men's gymnastics. And, of course, the way the sport's going, and it's allowing more specialists to compete much longer.
And that score will put him into second place for the moment with one competitor left to go in this rings final. And here he is, Chen Yibing. And he is to rings what Xiao Qin is to pummels, and that is textbook perfect. This is going to be close.
The details were there. The 7.3 A score, the difficulty is high.
Gary Van Gelder, he doesn't know what to think.
The deciding factors in the hands of the B jury, those 6 judges who will look at the execution of the routine. 6 scores will go up, the high and the low are dropped. 4 scores are averaged to come up with a B score that will be added to the 7.3 A score.
Needs something more than 16.6 if he's going to win the gold medal and make it back-to-back world championship titles. He'll be in the hunt for an Olympic medal next summer, and never count Jordan Jovchev out. At 34, he's still a threat.
I think it was a really tough competition, especially just to get the medal. It's just too hard.
Are you pleased with your performance?
Yes. I think I deserved what I got.
5 more events still left here in Stuttgart, and when we return, it's men's vault. Welcome back to Stuttgart, Germany, and the 2007 Artistic Gymnastics World Championships. Well, Lori, we're at the midway point of this competition. As you can see, the athletes are now warming up for the final 5 events. And one of those events is a marquee competition for the men. I'm talking about the high bar.
And a favorite on that event is Fabian Hambouchen, the current European champion. He throws some extremely difficult big release skills in his routine. And of course, we have to keep in mind that he is competing in his home country. He is a crowd favorite. Boy, that high bar is going to be an exciting event.
Also exciting is going to be the women's floor exercise. And because of the new code of points, the way gymnastics is now scored, a lot of people think that artistry will lose out to athleticism.
Well, traditionally, when we think of the floor, we think of that showmanship. We think of the presentation in the choreography. But because of this new code of points, they are rewarding those bigger, more difficult tumbling skills. So possibly we're going to see some of the most powerful tumbling from female gymnasts here.
And we will have the final 5 events when we return to Stuttgart, Germany, at the 2007 World Artistic Gymnastics Championships. The Hans-Martin Schleyer Hall is jammed to capacity for these event finals. We now move back to vault for the men's competition, and our first gymnast is Romania's Ili Daniel Popescu. And the Romanian king on vault is Marian Dragulescu, but Lori, this is probably his successor.
Starting with a huge triple twisting vault. What a landing!
Well, Marian is the triple world champion and Olympic medalist on vault.
And of course, we talked about him not being here at this competition after injuring his back in training. He's also made a mark in this sport, Dragulescu has, by creating a vault that is named after him. We'll see some other competitors competing that. But for Popescu, this is a triple twisting vault. It has a start value of a 7. He does a great job of keeping it centered in the mat, which is difficult to do, especially on these twisting vaults where they travel with each twist.
Great score for him there. A little bit more than 16.6 points. Each of these competitors gets 2 vaults. The scores are then averaged to determine their final score.
And they must be totally different. He has another vault with a 7 start value. That's huge here. It's a front twisting vault, a handspring front layout with a 2.5 twist. Now Li Xiaoping from China a few years ago, who was also a 3-time world champion on this event, did a vault that would be worth a 7.2 today, but these 7.0 vaults are as high as it goes in this vault final competition. Great job once again in the air of keeping the legs glued together in this twisting vault, staying centered over the mat. He's so quick and so powerful. That helps out on this event. There will be a deduction for the knees buckling a little bit and that step on the landing.
And there is the German star, Fabian Hambüchen, who will also compete on this event and a little bit later on high bar. Ili Daniel Popescu's score will be 16.325 for an average score of 16.5 points. A strong start for the Romanian gymnast. Here is North Korea's Ri Si-gwang, one of 2 North Koreans in this event final. And Lori, we saw 2 North Koreans compete in the women's vault final as well a little earlier. In fact, Hong Soo-young won the gold medal.
Athletes from North Korea are known for their big difficulty, and of course that helps on this event. This vault is huge. It's called the Dragulescu. That's the vault named after Marian Dragulescu. 3 rotations with a half twist, an outstanding job.
In 2001, gymnastics saw the change from the old style vault to the present day vaulting table, and that's made a huge difference in the difficulty that these gymnasts can perform.
I think we've seen the biggest change on the men's side especially. We're seeing some of the highest level of difficulty in these event finals from the men. The vaulting table allows the athletes to do some of those stronger, more powerful vaults. They can be more aggressive and have the security of that larger surface area for their hands.
Ri Si-gwang's first score, 16.5.
His second vault is also extremely difficult. 7 in the A score. Sukahara double pike, 2 steps on the landing. Great power and execution throughout the vault, but some landing deductions will be taken there.
And one of the most important aspects of the vault is the run-up to the apparatus.
The athletes are only allowed a 25-meter approach or they get a deduction, so they must gain incredible speed in a short distance. So without a doubt, good sprinting ability is a must on this event. Now Ri Si-gwang takes this vault sky high in the air, and he does it in the piked position instead of the tuck position, and that takes his start value from a 6.6 all the way up to a 7.
The score for that vault, 16.275 for an average of almost 16.4, and that will leave him in second place. This man is the face of gymnastics in Germany, 19-year-old Fabian Hambüchen, and he led the German men's team to a surprise bronze medal, then took the silver medal in the all-around competition.
First vault, a Yurchenko 2.5 twist. It's the Schuhfeld. Well done, extremely clean.
He will compete in 2 event finals today, vault, and a little bit later we're going to see him on his best event, high bar.
Now on this event, he's one of only 2 gymnasts in this final who does not have a vault with a 7 start value. So with the lower difficulty, Fabian must be ultra clean and nail his landings. He does a great job in the air, legs are glued together, really tight body position in that straight laid out position, and a tiny hop on the landing for a 1/10 deduction.
Not off to the best of start, 16.1, one of the lower first vault scores that we have seen, and there is his father, also his coach, Wolfgang. Lori, many think Fabian has a chance to eclipse Eberhard Ginger or Andreas Wecker as Germany's most successful gymnast of all time. That would be quite the accomplishment.
Second vault has lower difficulty, so he must stick it. Nails a double twisting Sukahara, but keep in mind that's about 0.8 lower than the 7 start value of some of the top athletes here. Well, Fabien's already such an accomplished athlete, and of course he's a fan favorite here. He's gracious and well respected by his fellow competitors.
And one of the things that makes him so outstanding is the fact that he is so young. We have to remember he's still 19 years old. A lot of the competitors that we're seeing here in these event finals and the all-around finals are in their early to mid-20s. And those two vaults will put Fabian Hambushin into third place for the moment. This is Leszek Blanek of Poland. The 30-year-old is a 2-time world silver medalist and the Olympic bronze medalist on vault and one of the world's most powerful vaulters.
This is his 6th World Championships, but he has still no world title on this event. Take a look at this first vault. It's a triple twisting front in the piked position. Wow, that's amazing. That is such a tough vault to land because the landing is blind. You're not twisting, you don't get to see the mat before the feet hit.
Now, Poland did not qualify a men's team to the Olympics, so for Leszek, this is his only chance to qualify. He has to win this event.
Absolutely. Not only is a gold medal in the World Championships on the line here, but his ticket to Beijing is as well. If he wins gold here, then he will have a spot at the Olympics next summer.
That's a good start for him, 16.450. Remember, the leader at the moment, Ili Daniel Popescu, but he has to beat him if he wants to go to Beijing next summer.
You can see him going through his rituals and his cues, thinking about the technique on this next vault. It has to be entirely different.
Pressure is on. And there's, look at that man. There's our leader. Ili Daniel Popescu doesn't even want to watch.
Sukahara double in the pike position. Look at the fire and the competitiveness. Outstanding.
He needs a score of a little more than 16.5 points to win the title. By looking at him, I think he thinks he has it.
A medal's on the line, his Olympic berth.
Oh, congratulated there by Fabian Hambushin.
What a truly amazing competitor. 2 very difficult vaults, very clean in the air, nice solid landings.
He needs more than 16.5 points to win the title and that Olympic berth. He's got it, obviously. Yes, he does. His combined score, 16.512. So, Leszek Blanek, competing in his 6th World Championships, wins the gold medal here in Stuttgart on vault. Ili Daniel Popescu takes silver, while Ri Si-guang picks up the bronze medal. Well, you've got to have nerves of steel to compete on our next event. Still to come, the beam final. Brenda Irving here along with Lori Strong-Ballard, and up next at the Hans Martin Schleyer Hall is the beam final. And what a world championship debut this has already been for American Shawn Johnson. She led her country to a gold medal in the women's team event and followed that up by winning the all-around title.
And she sealed that title on the beam with that tumble series. She was clearly off, a little crooked in the final, in the all-around final, and with quick thinking and quick footwork, she held on not only to the skill, but to the title as well. One of the most difficult skills of her routine coming up here. Standing full twist, drops her shoulder. Oh. That's a mandatory 8/10 deduction under the new rules.
She doesn't waste any time getting back on the beam.
Trying to regain her focus here. Switch leap, back layout, step out, back layout, 2 foot, slight wobble. on one of the more simple elements of her routine, the switch side, and she's off again. The expectations for this 15-year-old have been so high at these World Championships, and she has performed up until now like a superstar. Certainly this performance does not define what she is capable of and what she has already accomplished at these World Championships. Everyone has an off day, especially on the balance beam. She can't rush through this dismount. It's a difficult one. A full in, back out, fighting for the landing.
How unnerving is it when you fall off the beam to get your focus back again, especially in event final?
Well, in the finals, all eyes are on you, and coming back after not one but two falls is tough for any gymnast to do, but something that most gymnasts have to do in their lifetime. You have to put it behind you mentally. And for Shawn Johnson, this is her first sign of weakness at these World Championships. She has been so strong and consistent. And keep in mind, this is her fourth day of competition, and physical and mental exhaustion could start to play a role here.
Well, her score is less than 14.5 points. It's probably going to take a score of close to 16 to win this event final. Romania's Steliana Nister finished second to Shawn Johnson in the all-around final. She is 18 years old and has been a standout for the Romanian team here in Stuttgart. What a
Huge
move.
skill there. Back handspring to a full twist, one of the most difficult elements on the beam. Full twist was the element we saw Shawn Johnson fall on. Slight wobble there. Now, overall, this has not been Romania's best World Championships. They have only 2 medals so far by the women, a bronze in the team and a silver by Steliana in the all-around. Full turn, leg above, horizontal, slight wobble. She was wobbly in the all-around final and need to stabilize her landings here. Romania has a new national head coach in Nicolae Formente. He took over for the famous Octavian Belu, who retired in 2005. Very interesting skill there, front kick over to a scale. So I think that we've seen this Romanian team over the years continue to try to rebuild after the loss of Octavian Belu. Stumbles out of her dismount. Strong difficulty, a 6.7 in the A score, but some definite deductions on a few of the landings of those skills. Here's the back handspring, full twist. What makes this difficult is the twisting in the salto. It can cause the athlete to go crooked. The beam is only 4 inches wide, so even being off a millimeter means that you fall on this event.
And because of the new code of points, we're seeing more and more tumbling than we've ever seen in the past on women's beam.
The women have 1 minute and 30 to get out at least 10 big skills to increase their A score. And sometimes that takes away from the rhythm and the flow or the artistic value on this event, but the upside is we're seeing a larger variety of skills.
Steliana Nister moves into first place with that score of 15.9. China's Li Shanshan is another newcomer to this Chinese national team. She is just 15 years old.
She has incredible difficulty, the only one in qualifying with an A score over a 7. She can get higher than that if she hits connections. Like that, 4 skills in a row, tumbling down the beam like it's the floor, and she adds the back handspring swing down, that 4th skill. Never seen that combination done before. Very confident, attacking every skill. Essentially to a standing back tuck, solid landing. Required element of full turn, and she's off. On beam, the athletes are required to do 8 difficult skills plus a full turn and a dismount to give them 10 skills. So the full turn is required to be in their most difficult skills, so we're seeing them increase the value on that element. Slight wobble on our switch ring. Buzzer sounds. She has 10 seconds to dismount. Nails. Oh, just one step on the dismount. Oh, what an excellent routine, except for that one fall.
Well, the beam, a moment of inattention can certainly cost a gymnast. It's the most unforgiving of all the women's apparatus.
Now, because her difficulty is so high, an impressive 7.3, which means she's added more to this routine than she did in qualifying. Because her difficulty is so high, even with the mistake on this element, a required full turn, she does it with her leg up by her ear, this score could still be high.
Score to beat 15.9, and she has the identical score. So that will put her into a tie for first place with Stelliana Niester with one gymnast left to go in this beam final. So she is guaranteed, both of those women, a medal today. Here is Nastia Lukin, the American. We saw her earlier in the uneven bars where she picked up the silver medal, and beam is considered her best event.
In 2005, she was the world champion, but at last World, she was unable to compete on this event because of that ankle injury that we've talked about earlier. Doors wide open here, tremendous opportunity. Slight wobble on her tumble series. That is what she fell on in the all-around competition. Cost her a medal there, not a problem today. Semi. Nastia also missed her dismount in the team competition, so she's really struggled on this event so far at these World Championships, but it is her best. I'm sure she's feeling highly motivated to do something great here. Lower difficulty than Li Shanshan, but she has the same artistic qualities and almost even better lines and flexibility. Here's the dismount. Taking your time, even though the buzzer has sounded. 2.5 twist, hits the landing. Excellent job.
The score to beat is 15.9. Remember, we have a tie between that woman, Li Shanshan, and Stelliana Niester right now for first place.
She's about 6/10 lower in her A score or difficulty. But except for this wobble, all of her landings were clean. Not many deductions for form. There's the dismount that she struggled with in the team competition. Going for it aggressively today, and that's what she needed.
She already has won a world title on beam, and she has another here in Stuttgart. 16.025, the first score today that we've seen over 16. So it will be a tie for second between Stelliana Niester and Li Shanshan, while American Nastia Lukin picks up her second individual medal here in Stuttgart.
After a difficult year recovering from an ankle injury, Nastia, you come in here, and again, after falling in the all-around competition on balance beam, how did you get your confidence back, and how important is it to be the world champion on the beam?
First of all, it's such a thrill, and I'm so excited to be world champion again. And I was world champion in 2005 on beam, and last year I wasn't able to compete beam. So just to be able to compete in the finals and become world champion again, it feels really great. But you know, after all-around finals, I wasn't really nervous after that because I knew it wasn't really a mistake that I needed to worry about. It was just an accident, and you know, accidents happen in this sport especially. So you know, I felt really confident going in there, and I went out there and gave it 100%, and it turned out good.
With the Olympic Games less than a year away, was this an important challenge? Was this important to be the world champion?
You know, honestly, I don't really think about the results coming into a competition, but I guess in the end, always leaving the World Championships as a two-time world champion, I couldn't ask for anything better, so it's amazing.
Up next, we'll head over to parallel bars where Korea's Kim Dae-young looks to give his country its first medal in Stuttgart. The men have now moved over to parallel bars, and this is Slovenia's Mitja Pekovsek. The 30-year-old gymnast was the world champion on this apparatus just a couple of years ago.
On this event, we're going to see a variety of skills from the men. We must do skills through support and those that swing under the bars. We'll see flight elements. We also need to do a skill that starts from the upper arms. It's called a peach full into a peach. It's a tucked bell. Now those flight elements. A double salto over the bars. He's third in qualifying behind the world champion Yang Wei, who's still to come. Beautiful sky high, front 1 1/4. Nice routine. One step on the dismount, double pike.
Whew. I think he's glad to have that one under his belt because he is one of these athletes that is counting on this event to earn him a trip to the Beijing Olympics.
Absolutely, a lot was riding on this routine. A gold medal here will secure him a spot at next year's Olympics. Anything less than that means he won't go, and he won't have a shot at that Olympic title. Excellent job in the amplitude of all of his flight elements, those high-flying skills over the P-bars.
16.250. That's a great score on parallel bars. We'll have to wait and see, though, if it will be enough to hold up and earn him that trip to Beijing. This was the silver medalist in the all-around competition from the 2004 Olympic Games. 22-year-old Kim Dae-young of South Korea. He finished 5th in the all-around competition at this year's World Championships. And surprisingly, Lori, Korea has not won a medal here.
And he just squeaked into this very competitive final. Top 8 athletes from qualifying, only 2 per country can compete here. Kim Dae-young is known for his comeback performances at those Olympic Games where he won the silver medal. He qualified fairly low, came back and took home a medal. Called a tucked bell. A little short on height. Excellent job there, kicking open that double salto. Showing a high level of difficulty and strong execution so far in this routine. Just the dismount here. No movement on the landing.
We may just have seen the performance that gives Korea its first medal of these World Championships.
Kim Dae-young had the same difficulty as Mitja Pekovsek, competitor before him. He executed very well. Judges are looking for no hand movements on some of these elements that finish in handstand. Every time the athlete adjusts their hands, they can take a 10th deduction.
16.250, the exact same score as Mitja Pekovsek. So a tie now for first place. Here is Uzbekistan's Anton Folkin. This is his big event. He made the event final last year but finished a disappointing 8th. And a medal here for Anton would be the first ever for as Uzbekistan man since the breakup of the former Soviet Union.
Now on the men's side of gymnastics, skills are broken down into levels of difficulty, A being the easiest, and that's worth 1/10 to the A score, all the way up to an F level skill. It's worth 6/10 towards the A score. Of course, they're also required to do elements from the required element groups. Beautiful job in his front 1 1/4. Anton gets nice extension through all of his skills. A unique dismount, performing the double front, nails a blind landing. Wow, this final is so competitive.
Well, we may have a three-way tie after that routine by Anton Foken. That's going to be close.
Again, very strong difficulty, and I really enjoyed the crispness and the execution of every skill. Beautiful extension through his shoulders and pushing tall in his handstands.
Looking for a score better than 16.250, and his score 16.2, so 5/100ths of a point behind the leaders, and that will put him in 3rd place. Well, you have to think that we've saved the best here for last. Our final gymnast and the top qualifier, China's Yang Wei. He's the reigning gold medalist on this event, and what a world championships he's had so far. Yang Wei won the all-around title earlier here in Stuttgart.
He's a tough mount planned here. You can see him mounting from the board to give him enough spring and height into this first element. It's called a peach half. Way off, way off. Big struggle there from the start.
Would that have cost him the gold medal?
Absolutely. This could be, that skill could have been the deciding factor here. Tremendous job after that one mistake. So aggressive, up into his handstands. Kicking open, that tucked bell, beautiful job. Again, he throws some of the highest difficulty. Technique is phenomenal. Dismount nails the landing. What a great comeback. Big mistake at the beginning. Even though his difficulty is high, I don't think that, this routine will score or pass that 16.25 lead.
And this is his 3rd event final. He's the only one to compete in 3 finals here for the men, and fatigue could be a factor.
Well, for Yang Wei, he is in the top shape probably of his career right now, and that's what these top athletes need to be able to endure the length of these world championships. They're competing day after day. And here, bad news for the all-around champion who was trying to defend his title on the P-bars here, but it could be good news for Mija, who's looking for a trip to Beijing.
Score to beat, 16.250. Waiting now for the score for Yang Wei of China, and no, it will not be enough by a long shot. So we have a tie for the gold medal between Slovenia's Mija Pekovsek and Korea's Kim Dae-young. Pekovsek gets his spot at the Olympics. And Korea wins its first medal here in Stuttgart. When CBC Sports Weekend returns, it's the women's floor exercise. Shawn Johnson has been the talk of the women's competition at these World Championships. The 15-year-old American has already won 2 gold medals, one in the women's all-around competition, the other in the team event. And Lori, it's hard to believe she just started competing as a senior this spring.
Nice coming out party to win the World Championship all-around title. Opening with a big double twisting, double back. That's one of the most difficult tumbling skills the women are doing. 2 rotations and 2 twists. Shawn's competing on this event after 2 falls on the beam, so it's a big test for this young world champion to see how she handles adversity and see if she can rebound here. Another difficult pass, full in, back out. Trend on the women's side is now doing 4, sometimes 5 or 6 big tumbling passes. Nice difficulty in this routine.
Well, she looks like she has rebounded after that fall on the beam. A wonderful performance by the young American gymnast.
So it was very exciting to watch on this event, not only because of this strong, difficult, powerful tumbling, but she has a nice performance value to her routine as well, always smiling and looking like she's having a good time.
Well, that is the score to beat here in Stuttgart for the women on floor, 15.250. This next gymnast is arguably the favorite to win the floor exercise, 19-year-old Cheng Fei of China. And she's the reigning gold medalist in this event.
3-time world champion on the vault and floor, the power events, and she's got plenty of it here. Opening with that huge double-double. The first 3 athletes in this final started with that difficult pass. That's the highest level of tumbling I've ever seen in a floor final for the women. Beautiful triple twist. China has improved not only with their tumbling, but their choreography as well. They've started to bring in outside choreographers to put together these routines. Legs glued together in a combination of twisting elements. Pass, full and back out in the pike position. Crucial mistake there. Steps back on the landing, will receive a deduction. 2 feet over the line, that's a 3/10 deduction now in this new code of points.
Wow, she was so close to finishing that routine perfectly, but that misstep at the end, you've got to think that might have been the gold medal right there.
She looked so serious through this entire routine, really being extremely competitive, and she was doing a great job in executing some of the most difficult tumbling at these world championships. But it's amazing, she just simply had too much power, underestimated herself there, and held on to the pike position too long and over-rotated that full in.
Yes, her score 15.075, so that will move her into second place behind Sean Johnson. Cassie Verisil is another newcomer on the senior gymnastics circuit. The French gymnast is just 16 years old. She had an impressive debut at this year's European Championships, placing 13th in the all-around and 4th on floor.
Opening with a double layout. Well done. We're seeing a lot of newcomers at these World Championships. The age limit is 16 at a World Championships or an Olympic Games, but the Worlds before an Olympic Games, the athletes can be 14 or 15 as long as they are age eligible for the Olympics. Now this routine is lower in difficulty, so she will need near perfect execution and landings. Hop to the side there. Musical change up, a little more dramatic here. The athletes can lose up to 3/10 for lack of artistry in the routine. The judges want to see that the choreography not only goes along with their personality and their body type, but also with the music. Final tumbling pass. Double pike. Pretty clean routine. Lower difficulty, but well executed.
She's shooting for a score of more than 15.250.
In 1995, a French gymnast named Ludivine Fernand won a bronze medal on floor. That's the only floor medal for France to date. Now, this French team were 7th in the team competition, and that means that they will send 6 athletes to the Olympic Games. A good accomplishment for them. Stayed well focused throughout their routine. There's a triple full. Fully completed and squared up on the landing.
15.125, just 1/10 out of first place, but good enough to put her into second place right now with 1 gymnast left to compete in this women's floor exercise, and that gymnast is American Alicia Sacramone. She was the gold medalist on floor at the 2005 Worlds, and earlier we saw her win a bronze medal on vault. That was the 4th individual world championship medal of her career.
Alicia's known for her performance value on this event. Of course, landings have been so important in this final. Opening with a full in back out. Double Arabian. Nice job of keeping the legs glued together, and that half turn to a double front. Alicia won the bronze medal on vault, but this is the title that she most cherishes. The last World Championship, she did not qualify to this final because of a deduction that she took on a required dance sequence. Of course, she's the world champion in 2005. 2.5 front layout. Struggles on that landing. Her foot almost slipped out from under her. Pass, pass, double pike, great landing there. That one slip in the middle may be the deciding deduction.
Well, with Alicia Sacramone, Shawn Johnson, Nastia Liukin, the Americans are going to be tough to beat in the women's team event in Beijing.
Well, what a combination of 3 great athletes there. You have the new fresh energy of a Shawn Johnson, the experience of an Alicia Sacramone, and of course the beauty and elegance from Nastia Liukin. They are going to be one tough team. Great job here in the double Arabian. Strong on all of the landings except for that combination pass, the 2.5 twists to a front layout. Let's take a look at it right there. She comes in short of rotation, her feet slip out. She was really trying to use her experience to cover up that landing.
15.250, the score she has to beat. And there is Shawn Johnson. No! Alicia Sacramone will not beat her teammate Shawn Johnson, just shy of that score. But it will be the 5th individual world championship medal of her career. So the Americans will finish 1-2 in the floor final. France's Casey Varicel takes the bronze medal. For Shawn Johnson, that makes it 3 gold medals for her at these world championships.
The American women finished 1-2 on the floor exercise, and what a coming out party for Shawn Johnson. Shawn, did you ever imagine that you'd have so much success and make such a huge splash at your first World Championships?
Never. I wanted to come out and get the experience and have fun and learn the whole team competition, and to have the gold is it just wraps everything up perfectly.
And Alicia, you're the veteran on this team. This American group has seen so much success here at these World Championships. What can we expect in Beijing?
I mean, we're going to go home and work even harder. We want to keep our title. You know, we just worked our butts off to get it back. So, you know, we're going to work just as hard to keep it. So, you know, it's going to be a tough competition when it comes to China.
Good luck and congratulations.
And when we come back, the biggest draw in Stuttgart this week will have German star Fabian Hambüchen on high bar. Welcome back to Stuttgart. Brenda Irving here along with Laurie Strong-Ballard for the 10th and last Apparatus final, the men's high bar. This German crowd is primed for this one because the favorite is the hometown boy, Fabian Hambüchen. But first we're going to see Algis Pagan of Slovenia. He was second to Fabian at this year's European Championships, but he is the reigning world silver medalist and world champion 2 years ago.
He had the second highest score in qualifying. Of course, the high bar, there's a lot of risk, including this first element. It's called the Pagan, named after him. We've seen anything happen in these high bar finals. Teammates and coaches cheering him on. They cannot give him any technical cues, but they can certainly show their support. Big dismount planned here. Needs plenty of height. It's a triple back. The only one in this final competing a triple back. It's risky and extremely eye-catching.
Algis Pagan of Slovenia with a great performance there on high bar.
This was a very good routine. Of course, there's the skill that's named after him. That's an E-level skill. It's worth 0.5 to his A score. The double front with a half turn over the high bar.
And unlike the team finals, the all-around competition, all eyes are on one apparatus.
This is the only apparatus competing at one time. This whole stadium is oohing and eyeing through every movement of these routines.
Big anticipation here for the score, and it is high, nearly 16 points, a little bit lower than Fabian Hambüchen's qualifying score. We will see him coming up a little bit later. But right now, this is Hisashi Mitsutori of Japan, who won the bronze medal on the floor exercise and the bronze medal in the all-around competition. And even though Japan won that silver medal in the team event, some would suggest, Laurie, that the country has struggled a bit at these World Championships.
There have been some struggles by Japan, but as a team, they've still done a high level of good quality gymnastics. Now, Hiroyuki Tomita, who was one of the favorites in the all-around, has struggled everywhere in this competition. But for Mitsutori here, he has probably had one of the best World Championships of his life.
He was an alternate.
His chance to compete, not only in the team competition, in the all-around, and here as well, showing some amazing high-level release elements. His third double over the bar. Speed for the dismount, the double twisting, double out, sticks the landing. Another great performance for Mitsutori.
Well, he has won 3 medals here at these World Championships. As we mentioned, if he collects another, he will be the first Japanese gymnast since 1981 to do that.
That's called a Kovacs. He does it in the laid out position. Mitsutori has outperformed all of his expectations here.
How do you go from being an alternate on a team to possibly winning 4 medals?
Well, I think that just shows the strength and the depth that this Japanese team has.
Well, that will put him into second place behind Algis Pagan. 2 more gymnasts to go. Here is the second to last, Vlasios Maris of Greece. The 24-year-old, he is a 2-time world champion on high bar and 3-time European champion.
He also does the peg and release element coming up here. First big skills here, double front, kicks it open on top. Now, sometimes in an event final with these athletes doing so much difficulty, it is the athlete that can add that little extra flair that makes them that much better. In trouble here.
Just seemed to lose his momentum.
Yep. Stalder Rybalko, which is a 1.5 turn, and he loses his swing and momentum coming up out of that element into the giant swing. You know, at these World Championships, the judges said that they were going to start hitting hard and deducting for these pirouetting or turning elements if they are not completed close to handstand. And that's forcing some of the athletes to kind of control some of these elements that are turning above the bar. And right here, he loses his momentum. He's controlling it too much.
So he had a little time to regroup. The question is he going to try that element once again so he doesn't lose the points?
He may choose to do it again, but probably not at this point. His chances for a medal are pretty low. If this was a team competition where, you know, he's still trying to gain points for the team, he may choose to do it again. But not here, double twisting, double back. You can see his disappointment in the effort of that landing.
Well, just the top 8 competitors on each apparatus make it through to the event finals. So one mistake and you can pretty much count yourself out of making it into the top 3.
You're right, in the team competition and the all-around competition, you have several events to make up points after mistakes like this, but in a final, you know, one mistake will put you out.
Here is our final competitor of the day and of these 2007 World Championships, and very fitting that it is Fabian Hambushin. There's a shot of his mother looking on, his girlfriend there as well, and behind him, his father, his coach, Wolfgang. The 19-year-old German has already, Laurie, made history here when he became the first ever German gymnast to win a silver medal in the men's all-around.
He's the highest difficulty, starting with this element here. It's called a Coleman. Competing last is an advantage. An athlete can choose to water down the routine if they want to, if they feel that they could still get a high score. The disadvantage is the pressure mounts. Can get cold, no problem here. 2 release elements in combination. So far, a great routine. Can't second guess yourself on the dismount, no problem there. Nails the landing.
It looks like Fabian and Wolfgang both think that he has got it. Close to perfect for the German star. Needs a score of more than 15.825 to move into first ahead of Algis Pagan.
He went for it here. High-flying release elements, huge difficulty. What tremendous confidence in this routine.
And he has it, 16.250, so he leads the German team to a surprise bronze medal in the men's team competition, wins silver in the all-around, and now Fabian Hambushin takes gold on high bar, the hero of the day and of this World Championship for Germany.
In front of a very enthusiastic German crowd behind you all the way. Fabian, you get the gold. You had the most difficult high bar routine in this final, and you had to wait and compete last up. How'd you handle the pressure?
Well, it was very good for me because I knew the scores and the results of everybody else, so I could do a more different one, but okay, I knew that this one, which I did, is enough for gold if it works. And well, just handle it easy going. I said, okay, I have bronze medal, I have the silver medal. One more would be great, but it's not necessary, so I was really relaxed.
It must have been very exciting competing at these World Championships in your country. Did you accomplish everything you'd hoped to here?
Yes, of course. Well, we knew from the last competitions that the crowd is very good here in Stuttgart, and but it's more than I thought. So it's very, very good.
Congratulations on a great Worlds.
Thank you.
And a reminder that tonight, late night, you can catch an encore presentation of the IAAF World Athletics Final. And then tomorrow, it's the annual CFL on CBC Thanksgiving doubleheader. And here is the star of these 2007 World Championships. 3 medals here in Stuttgart for Fabian Hambuschen.
At just 19 years old, he's well on his way to being Germany's finest gymnast ever and could be the star of the Beijing Olympics.
I'm Brenda Irving for Lori Strong-Ballard and everyone here in Stuttgart. Thanks for watching and have a great Thanksgiving weekend.
CBC Sports, Canada's Olympic network, home of the champions.